Hey, this is Jeff from Hidden Twisties. Welcome to episode 7. Let's take a ride. Today we're riding Highway 130 in New Mexico. It's the back way from Cloudcroft to Mathill. It's about 22 miles. Unfortunately, I had a little camera problem on the first leg, so I started about 3/4 of the way through and went back to Cloudcroft. And then I came back later and went from Mathill back to where I started. So it's a little bit disjointed, but the narration follows through. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 7 of Hidden Twisties. I'm trying a new format with additional camera angles and hopefully improved audio. Also, you're going to see some pop-ups here. I'm covering the route from the road rather than from the garage. Hopefully it's more interesting. You'll see some pop-ups with the important information as we go along. I'll try not to obscure too much of the view. This ride is Highway 130 in New Mexico. It basically goes from the west side of Cloudcroft to a town called Mathill, about 22 miles away. We're in the Sacramento Mountains, which are 85 miles from north to south and 42 miles wide east to west. It's got the Lincoln National Forest, Cloudcroft, and it's surrounded by the Pecos River to the east, the Ruidoso River and the Twisties River to the north. The Sierra Blanca and the Capitan Mountains are north of us, just across the two rivers. They're on fire right now, though. That whole area's kind of got a big wildfire going. But I'll get up there whenever it's free, record some of those roads. You may have noticed I started this ride from the junction of 130 and 24, which is really sort of not quite in the middle of the road. I had a camera problem. I originally filmed it from Cloudcroft towards Mathill, but it apparently didn't work. So now I'm filming it from the junction of 24 back to Cloudcroft. And then you'll see later that I have Mathill to 24 in there also, but the narration would be out of sync, so I'll do it last. But it's about 5 miles of the road on the other side of 24. We're going to approach Cloudcroft here in about probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It snowed up there the last couple of days, and there's still a lot of snow on the ground. You'll see some water running across the road, which can be black ice in the early morning, so be careful of that. Highway 82 is actually the direct route from Cloudcroft to Mathill. It's only about 18 miles. It's a much more traveled road, and it's a proper highway, I guess. It's a 2-lane highway. It's nice, but it's not as curvy as this. Highway 130 leaves Cloudcroft on the western edge of Cloudcroft, and it goes south for a few miles and then goes east and then winds back north and meets Highway 82 again at Mathill. So it's just a loop, and you can see there's a lot of ranch land out here. Because of the ranch land, that there are some cattle. Keep an eye out for that. There are places where there is no fence, and even though there's not a lot of traffic here, there are some slow people from time to time. Where we started at Highway 24, that's another route that I'm going to show next week. I've already filmed it today. It's Highway 24 from Highway 130 south to Pinon, New Mexico. And that's the reason I ended up stopping there to change batteries. To get to this ride from the western side, from Alamogordo, Mexico, you go north on 54 for about 5 or 6 miles, and then at Junction 82 you head east directly into Cloudcroft. It's about a 4,000 foot rise. And if you're coming from the east, from Roswell, New Mexico, for example, you would take Highway 285 south for several miles and then turn west on 82 and go directly into Cloudcroft. That's a nice ride because you're crossing right through the middle of the Sacramento Mountains. Also, if you wanted to, from Roswell, you could take Highway 70 and head west to 244 and cut across the Mescalero Apache Reservation on 244 to Cloudcroft. 244 was the subject of Episode 6. So I've covered the weather in this area on a few different occasions, but really it's cold in the winter with snow. It's cool every morning for the rest of the seasons, and the summer afternoons are beautiful. In the spring and fall afternoons can be cool, but it's generally pretty nice. Really, 3-season afternoon riding in this area is really good. You can see there's not a lot of traffic on this road. Again, Highway 82 is the main road. the people out here on this road, or the ranchers that live here, or the people, you know, the 74 people that live in Piñon, New Mexico. It's really not that crowded, but you do see some trucks with campers. You see some people with their ATVs going off-roading somewhere. But overall, it's a very lightly trafficked place. Amenities, restaurants, hotels, gasoline, basically anything. You have to be in Cloudcroft for that. Or you could take 244 up to Ruidoso, which is about 40 miles from Cloudcroft. Ruidoso is a bigger town, but Cloudcroft is more convenient for this road and a few other roads in this area. There's an Alon gas station in Cloudcroft, and you should definitely use that. Just behind the Alon convenience store is a little kind of a side road that's the touristy area of Cloudcroft, and it's got a lot of shops and restaurants. It's got everything you need there. Cloudcroft is kind of a resort town, so if you want to stay here, you can pay a little bit more for the bed and breakfast type places, or the resorts, or the, you know, the rustic cabins, or you can stay in some of the motels that are in town. They're all clean. The motels are reasonably priced. For sightseeing, there's the Trestle Bridge, which is an old Mexican railroad bridge, which is pretty cool to look at. It's down in a valley, and it's big, and there's some hiking trails that go down there. There's other hiking trails in the area, horseback riding, there's some hot springs, a few casinos. And there's a couple ski resorts in the area too. If you're unfortunate enough to need some sort of service on your bike, you're going to probably have to go to Alamogordo or to Ruidoso. Both of those towns have a couple of little local shops. There are some automotive places in Cloudcroft, but I doubt they'll have a tube or a tire. They might be able to patch a tire for you, plug one. I'll throw up here on the screen a list of the options. As you can see, it snowed, and it is definitely cold. We've climbed about probably 1,000 feet since we started at Highway 24, maybe more. Cloudcroft is at 8,200 feet, where Mathill is at 6,000 or 6,500 feet, so it's a pretty good elevation change between the two places. And you can definitely see the difference in the snowfall. And although I'm cold and I'm not freezing, I could stop and put my silk glove liners in, but it's not too bad. If you saw episode 3 and 4, you saw two roads that are basically one road that has two, one name for a stretch, and it changes names. But the two different roads are built entirely different from each other. And then this one is entirely different than those two. This one is as if, I thought it must be an old trail of some sort, and they just put pavement directly over it, because it appears that they didn't really try to grade the land very well, or make the curves constant or anything of that nature. It's just like they laid the pavement right over the existing terrain. And it makes it interesting, because you'll come over these slight little rises and there'll be a sharp curve right there that you didn't see. If you take this ride, keep an eye out for the wildlife. The roadrunner, there's a bird right there, of course that wouldn't hurt, but a roadrunner, rabbits, squirrels, deer. A commenter on one of the previous videos said that the hunters come here during hunting season and in their RVs and pickup trucks with trailers, and they may or may not be honoring the lane. Here's an RV right here, but I mean, other than driving slow, those people don't seem to be offending me in any way. Into Cloudcroft here in just a little bit. I'm just going to let the camera roll, let you see how beautiful it is here. In the springtime, this is all green. All of these ranch areas are green, which is not that common for many parts of New Mexico. See, these water areas crossing the road are definitely black ice at night or in the morning. Something to watch out for. Right now the temperature's about mid-40s right here. So in the ground was already warm before it snowed this week, so it didn't really stick that much. There's the I believe the Sunspot Highway that we featured in episode 3. It's a nice ride. If you come up this way, you really check out all the videos for this area. I'll try to put them all in a playlist, a Cloudcroft playlist, because you could come up here and spend basically all day riding these roads and only cross your path when you turn around to go back from a place like Pinon or somewhere like that. Cloudcroft has, the restaurants are all locally owned. I don't recall there being a fast food place in Cloudcroft. There might be one, but there's a lot of locally owned stuff there. That's, everything I've tried has been pretty good. My hands were telling me it's a good time to visit their coffee shop. There's a little campground right there too. I've not been inside, but I'm told that it's really nice with some nice scenic overlooks. You can camp right on the edge of a hill that overlooks big valleys and things. There's one spot along this road where you can actually see White Sands National Monument several miles away and way down in elevation. But I'm not here for all the scenery, I'm here for the ride. Cloudcroft. We just left junction 24 and 130 on 130 heading toward Mathill. Sorry for the disconnect, I had a little camera problem. This road's really in pretty good shape considering the battering it gets from New Mexico's 30 and 40 degree temperature swings. The surface is not in bad shape at all, although like most of New Mexico, adventure bikes are more suited for it. I'm going to rate this road an 8. Although the scenery's not really up to par compared to some of the other videos I've had, the fact that this road is really accessible and there's hardly any traffic on it really makes this a good road for riding. By the way, I'm geared up pretty good for high elevation riding. I always bring my scuba vest. It's a 2mm neoprene vest. Helps me keep my core temperature at cold temperatures, especially at high elevation. Silk glove liners are also helpful for this. You can really increase the capability of your gloves by 5, even 10 degrees, depending on how cold it is. Anything below 35 you're going to feel anyway. And electric stuff would be helpful for that. That's it for Highway 130 from Cloudcroft to Mathill. Again, sorry for the disconnect in the sequence. We'll be rolling up to the end here in a moment. See you in the garage.
Thanks for watching Hidden Twisties. I really appreciate your time. Enjoy the ride.